Today in this bite-sized economics video, we're looking at the impact of market failure on different markets. So quickly, just to summarise, market failure is when there's a distortion between where resources should be allocated in an efficient manner. So the impact it can have on different markets is the external impact, the negative or positive impacts it can have on markets. But as we're looking at the failure, it's the negative impacts. Today in this bite-sized economics video, we're looking at market failure and its impact on different markets. So market failure is basically when there's a disallocation of resources. So when an allocation of resources causes negative impacts on different markets. So for example, it can have a negative impact on the environment. So for global warming, scientists are arguing that the problem is caused mainly by pollution created by transport and different industries, especially in the richer countries. So that's actually quite a bad thing of economic growth, is that produces a lot more pollution, which has a bad external impact and it can result in market failure. It can also cause acid rain. So in Scandinavian countries have suffered a lot from acid rain caused by pollution in other European countries, including the UK. So just by us polluting a lot, it's actually affecting all the way in Scandinavia, causing market failure there. And biodiversity. Many modern medicines are based on chemicals that occur naturally in the wild by eradicating species before they have been discovered. And what this then means is that possible scientific advances are then going to be foregone. And also quite a sad thing that's happened today. You check the date. Friday the 14th of October, is the Great Barrier Reef in Australia has officially been pronounced as being dead, and that's a really sad thing as a result of us not looking after it, and that's kind of market failures. We're not allocating enough resources to protecting the barrier reef, and as a result that's something that's now happened. So in transport, there can be market failure in this market. So society would be better off with less congestion. That is, with the number of journeys undertaken being limited to where the marginal social benefit equals the marginal social cost. So here we're saying that if you use more cars, you're going to add to the traffic, and that's just going to add to the pollution, because then you're going to have a big traffic jam, and cars are constantly going to be letting out pollution from their exhausts. So one thing that we could do is vehicle charges. So for example, by imposing a charge on motorists entering central London called the London Congestion Charge, the authorities are trying to ensure that drivers face at least part of the social costs they impose on others by using congested roads. So that's the way that they're trying to get rid of market failure, is through this congestion charge. But obviously it's never going to be solved in London. And health. So if people decide not to be vaccinated, there is a possibility of a widespread epidemic, which would be costly and damaging to many. And what we mean by epidemic is just widespread mass disease, basically. So this is why the government has to intervene to try and get as many people vaccinated as possible to reduce the risk for as many people as possible. And how we can try and get rid of this market failure, or for example how you can, is just by going to the gym. You're going to be healthy, and that's going to reduce the pressure we've got on the NHS, and this is going to then reduce government spending. So actually you can kind of see, if everyone started going to the gym, even though it might be costly at first, in the long run it might actually be cheaper for you, because you're going to need to pay less tax in the future for healthcare. So that's just one way in which we can eradicate market failure in, say, the health sector. Education as well. So evidence suggests that not only does education improve productivity, but a group of educated workers cooperating with each other become even more productive. So this is kind of an externality effect, as it depends upon interaction between educated workers, but each individual perceives only the individual benefits of cooperation. So if you get better educated, then put in say 3A students together, they might actually come out with an A-star answer just from that interaction with kind of educated people. And if an individual demands education, it's going to have a private benefit for them, because they're going to have higher future earnings. And this is probably why you're watching this video right now, is so that you can improve your own knowledge, so that in the future you're going to be able to earn more money. And also society is going to benefit through the additional benefits of cooperation and you being educated, because then you're going to be paying tax and all that shebang. The waste market. Well, landfill is one way of dealing with waste, but it has a long-term effect on the environment. So, for example, and it's also going to impose a lot of negative externalities on people living near the landfill sites, because obviously not the nicest smelling place, so it's going to be bad for locals. So that is an example of market failure with landfill sites. Excuse me. The tourism industry, put this over here. So constructing infrastructures like hotels and tourists may actually have a beneficial effect on the domestic economy. Domestic economy, by the way, just means your home economy. That's why if you say you're a domestic housewife, you're like a home housewife. And so it improves roads and communications, can benefit local businesses. So if you're deciding that say you live in Brighton and you want tourists to come to Brighton, you're going to improve all the roads there, the hotels, the whole appearance of the place, which is really good because it will attract tourists in. But it's good if you live there as well, so that's an external benefit, because now you've got this lovely town to live in. So that is a way of eradicating market failure, is investing in the area. So that's all I've got for you today. Hope you enjoyed and learned a bit.